thinking that you're going to have the perfect environment by having a home gym. Like, oh, it's going to be the best environment. Like I can wear whatever I want. And all those things. The challenge that's going to be for you is that if you're in your home, setting up a home gym, you're also going to be subjected, as I mentioned earlier. Welcome back to another episode of the Brave Today podcast. This show is going to encourage, challenge, maybe even provoke you to step outside of your comfort zone and take more action to better improve yourself and your health. I'm your host, Mark Avens, in this crazy upside down world that keeps pushing a narrative for people to become soft and weak and sick and unhealthy and more dependent than ever. The goal and intent of my show is to help you navigate through it so you can become braver today than you were yesterday. Now, I have a couple of different types of shows that I offer. Today, we're going to be doing a flavor of the day. And because of the interest in home workouts and home gyms, actually, I want to share with you today the top 10 reasons why you should not have a home gym. The top 10 reasons. There's lots of them. In fact, I had to narrow it down to 10. But today, I'm going to give you 10 reasons why, if you're thinking about opening. If you're thinking about putting together your own home gym or building your own gym or investing in equipment, I have 10 reasons why you should maybe think twice before you do so. So let's jump right in. Number one, when you have a home gym and build a home gym, and if you've ever had one before, one of the hardest things about having a home gym is sticking to your fitness routine. It's really easy in your own home, regardless if you live in an apartment or a condo or a home or you have a lot of space. It's really hard. Now, yes, is it hard to stick to a routine when you have a gym membership? Of course. But it is really hard to stick to your fitness routine, whether you have a home gym or you belong to a gym. So if you're thinking about, well, you know what, if I build a home gym, then I'm going to stick to my fitness routine. The bottom line is that sticking to your routine in your workouts and your fitness requires discipline. So it doesn't matter if you have a gym at home or a gym membership. You still have to learn the discipline. You still have to get your butt up and go to the gym, whether the gym is in your basement or in the corner of your house or in the living room, or you got to get in your car and drive 10 minutes down the road to your neighborhood gym. So that is one of the reasons. If you think that actually building a home gym is going to make you stick to your fitness routine, you're going to want to think twice before that. So I can just tell you, we've had small little gyms in the past. We built now my dream gym that's here in our basement. First time having a basement, lived in Florida for over 20 years. And now here in Colorado, we had extra space. So we built a home gym. And it's not any easier. A lot of things get in the way, a lot of distractions, and we're going to go over that. But number one, if you're thinking about building a home gym so you can stick to your fitness routine, you might want to kind of carefully look at some other reasons why you should have a home gym versus not. But today we're talking about the reasons. That was number one. Number two, now opening a gym, I said it again. I guess maybe because I had that history and I did open a gym. So we had a 5,000 square foot gym. That was my second home, so to speak. As far as saving time and skipping the lines and thinking like, well, if I have my home gym, I'm going to save time. You might think that you're going to save time by having a home gym, but I can tell you it's really easy when you don't have to get in a car and go to the gym, change your clothes and do all those types of things. It's really easy to think in your mind that, if I have a home gym, I'm going to be able to save a bunch of time. But in reality, you can easily occupy that time doing other things. You can get distracted at home, right? You can get into your workouts in your home gym and get easily distracted. Somebody knocks on the door, right? You got your kids, you have a home office and you're thinking about work when you are supposed to be doing your workouts. But I will tell you that if you're thinking that a home gym is going to now, can it save time? Absolutely. But I would say if that's the main reason why, well, I'll just have a home gym, it can save me a bunch of time. Definitely think twice. It's not necessarily going to save you time. So I wouldn't let that be the only reason why you set up a home gym for yourself. Number three. Now, this one is thinking about the freedom. One of the things that I like is having the freedom to exercise whenever it works for me. That can actually work against you as well. You see, when you say, well, you know what, I can just do it later. My gym is, in the other room and I can just go in there. how many times do you think that you're going to actually put your needs and your focus and your attention on your fitness, and having the gym right next door to you in another room or down in the basement or in the garage, and thinking that you're going to have more freedom? The reality is you're probably also going to think about all the other things you can be doing at the same time that you could be working out. So I just want you to know that just by having a home gym doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have more freedom to exercise, right? So just be careful with that. So that's definitely a reason in itself, thinking like you're going to have more freedom, that I wouldn't go buying or building a home gym for yourself. Number 4, let's get into it. I have 10 of them here, and let's just roll through them. You're going to have thinking that you're going to have the perfect environment by having a home gym. Like, oh, it's going to be the best environment. Like I can wear whatever I want. And I can play the music that I want. And I can have any TV that I want. And, all those things, kind of the perfect environment. Well, the challenge that's going to be for you is that if you're in your home setting up a home gym, you're also going to be subjected, as I mentioned earlier, to all the distractions. You're going to think about, man, I need to clean the house, or I need to do laundry, or you got to go change laundry, or you got kids in the house, teenagers in the house, maybe another a family member, spouse, that you're going to get distracted. So you want to be careful as far as thinking that that's the reason why I'm going to have the perfect environment that I can work out in. It's going to be the best environment, right? Or you want to play the music you want, and you realize, there's all other people that live in your house, and you need to be mindful for that. Maybe it's the time that you're going to work out in the day, and maybe it's, when it's dinner time, or when it's time to help the kids with the homework, or maybe when it's not the perfect timing. So the environment alone is not really going to be the reason why you should actually build a home gym for yourself. Now, can it help? Yeah. You can have the environment, and if you can set up and maybe live by yourself and you have a little home gym and you can do that, that's fine. But the majority of people have other people in the home, and the space might be limited, or the environment of where the gym is, or maybe you got dogs, or you got loud neighbors, or you got people always coming and going, those types of things. You want to just be careful. It might not be as perfect an environment as you might think. All right, let's move on to number 5. Privacy. It kind of goes into this. This kind of segues into the next part. Man, you know what? You go to the gym and it's not private. Everybody's looking at you. Everybody's working out, and like, it's not so private. And I kind of feel self-conscious and all those types of things. Now, while you can have a private environment in your home to work out in, sometimes it's not always the best, because when you're in an environment with other people in a gym, especially if you're new or trying to get back into it, you can be encouraged by other people. You can see people. It could be a social part. So like having the privacy might be one thing that you might think, oh, this is going to be such a benefit. I'll be able to wear whatever I want, do all the things I want to do. And it's just my own quiet little space. And that might be true, but that might not be very beneficial to you, especially if you're trying to change some significant habits that maybe you've overlooked over the years. And the privacy, you almost should benefit more by having not a private environment, so that you can actually say, wow, that person looks great. I wonder what they're doing. Or you're inspired by other people around you who are getting up and going to the gym early in the morning, right? So privacy, it can work both ways, right? So just be on that kind of thought process when you're thinking about, oh, well, if I build a whole gym, it's just going to be super private. That might be okay for some of you introverts out there, but for those of you who are really like, you need that kind of extra motivation and inspiration, it might be hard to do if you're looking at yourself in the mirror. If you have a mirror at home in the gym and you're working out and you're looking, and it's like, oh, like, wow, like then it's just you and you. So just be be aware of that as you're going about thinking and maybe deciding whether or not you should have a home gym. All right. So the next thing, while you might think this is a benefit, this actually could be something negative as well. Having your whole family. So maybe like, say you're in a house and you got 2 kids and a wife, and you're thinking, well, if I build this home gym, the whole family can actually work out in here. We can make it a family thing, and it'll be awesome, and everybody will get healthy and fit. One of the things you got to realize is your family might not be on the same page. So it might actually not be of value to, especially if like your kids are wanting to watch TV or your husband is maybe, making fun of you while you're doing some exercises. And I'm not saying that that's always the case, but that might be some of the things that come up. They might not be supportive of you getting in shape or working out. I honestly don't know, but I've seen it and hear about it all the time where family members aren't supportive of people in their family that are trying to. And I think part of it is we call them saboteurs. They don't know and they don't realize, but what they're doing is they're realizing you're wanting to change and changing and making that decision. And it goes kind of away from how they're used to you being. Maybe they're used to you being overweight and out of shape and snacking and eating and doing whatever you want, except exercising. And it might be hard for that change. So, having a home gym might be really difficult. If you're thinking, oh, well, it's going to be great for the whole family, but you might be better off leaving so that you can get the support, external support that you need. Maybe your gym buddies, or you have a neighbor or friend that you can work out with and meet at the gym. So just keep that in mind, that it might be a benefit if they're all on the same page, but it can also be something that could be a deterrent for you to work out. They might be asking you a bunch of questions or trying to distract you or, interrupting while you're trying to get a workout in, or maybe just not on the same page as you. So just be careful with that. Okay. Number 7. Now, one of the things that I've on the earlier years, now my kids are older and out of the house, but when my kids were younger, one of the things that having a gym membership, people would look for like childcare. We didn't have that when we owned a gym because it was more of a training center and we just didn't offer that. We didn't have the space for it. But I know sometimes people go to the gym and they have childcare and it's helpful. But setting up a home gym, you're like, oh, well, it might be actually great because I don't need the childcare, right? I don't need somebody. But at the same time, when you're trying to work out, again, it goes back to being distracted. If you're trying to give yourself 2-3 times a week or more where you want your time with you to exercise and to burn calories and stretch and do some strength training and stuff, but you're got your kid in the next room or in the same room, it could be really hard for you to get focused on you. And I'll tell you what, as a parent, there's nothing that you can do more for your family than to give them a healthy you, the best and healthiest you as possible. So you might think about it as like, oh, I don't have to worry about childcare, but it might also hinder your workout and your capacity to improve and to make the gains and get the results that you truly want out of it. And maybe separating yourself, regardless of childcare, maybe finding a gym that has childcare or working out with one of your family members to maybe your spouse where you could go to the gym and then you can trade off and so forth. That's what we did when our kids were younger. Of course, having the gym, but I was always at the gym. So we actually had to make arrangements so that my wife could get her time, I could get my time, and that we were able to do that. So at that time, we didn't have a home gym. We actually owned a gym. And that was definitely challenging during those years. So I totally feel you if you're thinking about getting a home gym, but be very careful because I've seen it too many times where people have all the great intention. They put a home gym in their house and then everything gets in the way. Their kids get in the way, their work, the dog, distractions, the noise, people in and out, all those types of things. And then they have all these things that they see in their home that they need to do, and they end up not working out. So all their exercise equipment ends up being, as you've heard before, maybe you even had a piece of equipment that ended up being a drying rack for your clothing, right? So enough said on there. Let's go to number 8. I got 3 more. This one is I haven't had to really think about or worry about because this is my livelihood and I've been eating, sleeping, and breathing this health and fitness and workouts and training, education and continuing education ongoing for 3 decades now. And I'm very comfortable in my own home and with exercise equipment. Now I have heavier weights and so forth in our house. But the safety factor. So you have to realize also there's a safety factor. You might think on the front end that it might be just safer to work out at home versus going to the gym and like injuring yourself. But if you're new to exercise and trying to get back into it, I would highly recommend that what you're going to do when you're working out in your home, whether you're just using your body, doing body weight training, body weight exercises, or you got some dumbbells or a kettlebell, or maybe you have a rope or bands like a jump rope or some bands, or you put in some machines, or even if you have some cardio equipment, treadmill, or maybe a Peloton, something like that. Maybe you have a garage set up with some free weights and maybe a TRX, all those types of things. you might think like it's just safer to be at home and you don't have to worry about other people, or like getting injured in some machine you're not used to. But I would very much caution you before going to build a home gym, even if you start to think about working out at home, if you don't understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, you definitely need to know what you're doing when it comes to working out on all levels, no matter if you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced. But it's not going to be necessarily safer for you to work out at home, especially if you're either coming back to, maybe you used to work out back when you were in your 20s and now you're in your 50s and you haven't worked out in a while and you think maybe I'll just go back to what I did in the 20s. I can tell you it's not going to work. It just doesn't work. Your body's different. 30 years is going to do different things to your body. It's going to require different types of exercise for you to truly benefit the right way, the best way. And I say the right and best way is the way that's going to get you results. Like there's no sense exercising, no sense spending any kind of money or investing in any kind of home exercise equipment if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know why you're doing, and you're not going to get results. There's so many people. In fact, I would probably, if I were a betting man, I would bet there's more people that have gyms at home exercise equipment, areas that they work out at home that aren't getting results than there are. In fact, it's probably like 1 out of every 10 actually getting good results from a home gym setup or a home workout setup versus somebody that might go to a gym. So, and the safety factor again is really not, I think, a legitimate reason why you should have home exercise equipment. So now, one of the other things on that is cleanliness. So like, here's the thing, you think like, well, if I stay at home and I work at home, it's going to be a cleaner environment. It'll be clean and neat and all that stuff. But are you going to really take the time to clean your equipment? In fact, just since having our equipment for the last couple of months, we set up a home gym here. It's right in the room next door. And I can tell you, like, I had to think about it. Like, when you go to the gym, you're used to, if you go to a good gym, a quality gym that takes time in cleaning their equipment and have cleaners in there for people to clean them off, the gym equipment is getting cleaned pretty much all the time versus your gym that might get dust and dirt and grime. And I'm not going to say that there'll be other people's sweat. Of course, it'll be just your own sweat or whoever you allow work out in there. But ideally, I don't think that's also a reason why, just for like cleanliness, that'd be like the reason why you'd have a gym in your own home or set up a gym in your own home. There's definitely some value, but I would say it's probably not the only reason to do it, because a lot of gyms now know, especially after the last couple of years, they are way better. I will say most gyms, probably your like old school kind of like average Joe's gym maybe not be so clean and maybe they don't have the resources to do it. But I've seen even here moving to Colorado, we've been in a couple of gyms and there was definitely some that just, they were dirty, like dust and tumbleweeds, rolling by, and you could see old sweat. It's kind of nasty. I don't go to those gyms, but there are gyms that I've been around now and they have cleaning supplies, spraying and so forth. So again, they're going to be both. So to be honest with you, on the cleanliness part, you can have a clean gym if you belong to one, might pay a little bit more money. You can also have a clean gym at home, but you got to clean it, right? You can't just kind of leave it there and leave all your sweat. Like, oh, it's my sweat, I'll just leave it. That can actually be pretty nasty. So number 10, the other thing with having a home gym is, when you're designing it, building it, and you got to think on an expense side, like, well, if I have a home gym, it's going to be way less expensive just setting up a little space than going to a gym. But I can tell you, if you really want the equipment that you want in your own home, and if especially say you're used to going to a gym where it has leg extension machines and squat racks and bench press and dumbbells, but like, unless you have unlimited budget, even for us building our dream gym, it was quite pricey to build out. And I still have a gym membership, because despite wanting and having a home gym so that I can do filming and I can, do content and stuff for my coaching clients, and also to have a space to work out in when I want to work out, all those valuable things. Also, there's things in my home that I don't have that a gym has. So when you're designing it, unless you have an unlimited budget and unlimited space, and hey, the sky's the limit and you probably won't need that, But ultimately, the majority of people probably have a small room and they're going to be putting in, and they're going to realize they're not going to have access to the same type of equipment that a gym would have. So that would also be something to take into consideration. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we built a home gym. So I'm not telling you not to build a home gym, but I want you to actually have some reasons why you may or may not choose to build a home gym. So I hope this helped. And in this episode, and listen, if you found this valuable, hit the subscribe. I really appreciate it. I don't do any ads on the show. So if you do enjoy this, share it with a friend. I'm also, if you're watching this through YouTube, again, it's just me right now. I'm in the process. We just built this out. I'm going to be building out this space. But you can catch it on podcast if you're going for a walk, or maybe you're Spotify. So you have a Spotify playlist. Get me on there. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you. Have an amazing, blessed one. And again, my ultimate goal for you is to become braver today than you were yesterday. Take care and God bless.